Welcome back to the Melting Pot Restaurants of Arizona channel. Thanks so much, I'm Nick Lane. In the previous video of our Fondue by You 101, I want to give you a little recap of what we've gone over. We talked about our partnership with Uber Eats and how we're super excited to get going with our Fondue by You concept. And I did mention that we do have a Fondue by You gift basket available that is going to be available on Uber Eats as well. If you look over here, you will see we do have a stainless steel pot with a liner, a garlic and wine seasoning, fondue forks tucked below, and a melting pot cookbook. So in this video today, we're actually going to get down to making the cheese. This is why you're all here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the ingredients. The cheese that we're going to be making today is going to be our classic cheddar. So we're just going to go through the ingredients. Essentially, I'm just going to break them out and put them on the table so that you can see. You will receive a card with the instructions. The ingredients will be in order. In the order that you're going to be making a cheese fondue. So first off, we do have our cheddar blend. It's actually a blend between cheddar and Swiss. We're gonna have our corn tortilla chips, as well as, I don't know if you can see, we do have our pretzel bread. Two other kinds of bread in there are gonna be French and honey wheat. So those are gonna be the dippers that you're gonna be dipping into that awesome cheese fondue. So next, every cheese fondue is going to start with a base. Typically a cheddar is paired in our restaurant with a beer base. Unfortunately, I cannot send you guys any alcohol, so sorry about that. You're more than welcome to take our recommended base, which would be beer with the cheddar. Otherwise, you'll be receiving our vegetable bouillon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place the ingredients out. I'm going to go over them, and then we're going to start making cheese. So here we're going to have our beer base. Our next ingredient is going to be our chopped garlic. So I'm just going to take the lids off before we start making them, so it's going to be easier for me to put them into the pot. So we do have chopped garlic. Our next ingredient is going to be a Worcestershire. It is a gluten-free Worcestershire. Going to have some fresh cracked pepper for you as well. And we have a ground mustard powder. So we're gonna get started with making cheese. The first thing we wanna do is gonna be adding our base. So the beer, it's just a light lager. You can use a Bud Light. If you wanna get crazy, you can go ahead and use a craft beer to really spice it up a little bit. So we're gonna add this. It's gonna be 4 ounces of base. All right. So that's gonna start to heat up. I did mention before we do use a double boiler, so this is what we use in-house and at all of our Melting Pot restaurants of Arizona. I do have a little bit of equipment, so using a fork and a tong is going to help me keep the liner steady. You can also use the tongs to take the cheese out of the bag if you like. So our first ingredient we're going to start with is going to be our chopped garlic. We're going to go ahead and put all that in there. Stir that so it gets mixed evenly. Then our next ingredient is going to be our mustard powder. So just to recap, so far we are working with our classic cheddar. The first thing we wanted to do was put in our beer base. You will be getting a vegetable bouillon base, as I mentioned before. Then we added some chopped garlic and then our mustard powder. Our next step is going to be adding the cheese. So we're not going to be just adding our cheese all at once. There is a skill and an art form to making cheese fondue. We're going to add it 1/3 at a time. That way it doesn't clump and our temperature remains consistent so that the cheese can melt easily. We're just going to gauge 1/3. I like to add a little less than 1/3 the first time around. Start there. A fun fact about the cheese fondue, we actually cornstarch all of our cheeses. This is how we get that nice consistency. Also how we're gonna keep the cheese together, but also not staining our liner there, so we can actually enjoy the cheese. That 1/3 looks pretty melted. I'm gonna go ahead and add another third. It's about 1/3 there. The motion that you're going to be using is similar to beating eggs. we do want to get going from the bottom up to the surface to get air into it so it's nice and fluffy. That looks pretty good. We're gonna go ahead and add the last third. And while I finish mixing up this last third, if we go ahead and pan over to the dippers that will be coming with the cheese, we will be sending bread items. So you're gonna have the pretzel bread, corn tortilla chips, so those are gluten-free, as well as French and honey wheat bread. There will be an option to add on these awesome dippers over here. If you look, we do have some nice cured meats, prosciutto, soppressata, as well as capicola. We have some cornichons, Granny Smith apples, cherry tomatoes, broccoli, olives, and carrots. So that will be an add-on option for the launch as well. Just a couple more ingredients to add to this cheddar cheese fondue and we'll be ready to go. So next we're gonna add our Worcestershire. It's about 4 shakes if you do have a cruet. Like I said, you will have these ingredients with you. We're gonna mix this in, and our last ingredient will be our black pepper. And our pepper. And that is our cheddar fondue. So it's as simple as that. We're super excited. As I mentioned, you will be able to get this delivered directly to your door via Uber Eats. Just make sure you locate the Melting Pot restaurant of Arrowhead. And I'm gonna enjoy some cheese fondue. We'll see you in the next video. The next video is actually gonna be our spinach and artichoke. So stay tuned, look for the videos to follow. Don't forget to subscribe and check us out next time. Thank you so much.